Man, I can't believe this crap, man. These cops are out here arresting people just for breaking the law. Man, these tyrants are out of control, bruh. I thought you were a lawyer, now you say you can rap. Well, I listened to your record, made me go take a nap. The rhymes you're spitting out, they make you sound like a nut. Your latest track, it's got less views now than Gunserio's butt. Well, you say you're just a man who wants to smoke at some weed, but you smoked yourself stupid, boy. Get the help that you need. You think you could be like Tom McDonald, be an internet star? The problem is your brain's so tiny, it would fit in this jar.
It's a frivolous lawsuit.
You know you're gonna lose.
Frivolous lawsuit.
Now watch me play the blues.
Frivolous lawsuit.
You put against cat.
Frivolous lawsuit.
Make sure you wear the hat. All parties have been sworn in. I've read your complaint.
It's a frivolous lawsuit.
The way it's written, it sounds like you've been smoking paint.
That means
if we have that title to your shit, we will take it.
Oh, come and take it, bitch.
All right. I want your money and I want your dignity, and I'm taking both.
To quote my good friend Artie, come take it, bitch. Come take it, bitch. Come take it, bitch. Come take it, bitch.
Come and take it, bitch.
She spit in my face.
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 Take it, bitch.
Take it, bitch.
She spit in my face.
You're a fucking idiot.
She spit in my face.
Shot little thick dude.
A woman walks into the ladies' room at the mall. She enters one of these stalls and sits down to begin doing her business. As she starts to pee, she looks down at her shoes and sees a head poking under the stall, looking up at her with a camera. "What are you doing?" she screams, frightened. "I'm recording you," says Denver Metro Audits. "But this is a bathroom," she squeals. "Yes, a public bathroom, and there's no expectation of privacy in public," he tells her. "You don't belong in here," she yelled. "I didn't see any sign saying that," DMA replies. "It says ladies' room right on the door." Maybe it does, but it doesn't say no men allowed, does it?" he asked her. "What? That's stupid," she sputtered. "You're being a Karen about this, and what's stupid is shaving down there," DMA answered, holding his camera up. "If you let that bush grow in, it would create privacy for your hoo-ha like a hedge." She stared down at the activist lying on the filthy floor looking up at her. "A hedge? Look, they should put a lock on that door if they don't want people coming in. They need to create privacy," DMA said. "It says ladies' room. They assume men won't come in here." "Well, they shouldn't assume that. And I can film whatever I can see. It's my First Amendment right as an independent journalist." "Oh, you're a journalist. What are you working on?" she asked, sarcastically, wiping herself. "I can't divulge that information at this time. The story isn't finished yet," he lied as if there were a story. "No expectation of privacy in public," he reiterated. But I'm in a stall, she cried. Yes, and look, it's open on the top and the bottom, DMA answered in his thin voice. They need to create more adequate privacy because if I can see it, I can film it. You don't have to like it, but it's my First Amendment right. The conversation droned on like this for a while. The woman on the toilet and DMA on the filthy floor next to the toilet. Finally, the woman says, Christopher, don't you think this is inappropriate? I'm your mom. And that's a true story. Absolute true story.
Oh, man, I love that. It was great. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see so many people in here this early in the morning. Let's see, what do we got? I'm going to go back to the top of the chat and make sure I say hello to everybody. We got Archangel 3, first one to show up once again. Thank you for coming out. We got iKiss. Let's see, we got Akira 808 State. Love you. Glad. Thank you for joining us. Analyze. Good to see you in here again. Salacious, of course, as always. And Miss Mandy, 777 arrived. Good to see you. Great to have you aboard. Once again, we got Cliff Higson. Um, oh, of course, Artash Union, and I've still never pronounced his name right, even though he's been on here and told me in person how to pronounce it. I always get it wrong still. It's I try. Welcome, welcome. Always good to see you, buddy. Let's see. We got who else is in here today so far? Oh yeah, Base Horseman 99. Thank you for joining us. And we got Commentator Auditor. Yes, welcome, welcome. Always good to have you in here once again. And let's see, I think that covers everybody. Yep. So, hello guys, welcome. Welcome to the channel. Just want to say right off the bat, before we get started, I realize now that some of the people in here today don't realize what's going on with the music. And he said, you got to toot your own horn. And yeah, maybe he's got a good point. So I think I'm going to do that just a little bit. Yeah, when you watch any of my videos that I've ever made, unless it's like something that like there's a couple videos where I have like some old classical pieces in the background, a little bit. But that's really about it. And I try to make all of the music I use in all my videos be music that I wrote. All that stuff you hear in my intro, that's all me. My old intro, all the songs I used on that's all me. I got a whole bunch of heavy metal stuff. I got a bunch of stuff. I've thought a lot about actually putting together an album and putting it out like so you could get it on like on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. But when I look into that, there's a charge. It's not a ton, but you can't just put your stuff out there to get people to buy it. You have to pay a fee to get. You pay the one-time fee, and then they give you royalties from there. But you can't just do it for free. So, like, I'm just waiting until I have a point where I get a top, some money that extra money that I can take the time to do that. But yeah, I have a link to a channel on my channels on my page called TR573. That was my DJ name back in the 90s when I was DJing at underground rave parties. It was funny because on the weekends, because in the 90s I was also the lead singer of a punk band. So every weekend I would either be doing DJ stuff at a rave party or completely the opposite as far as like the social network involved, singing in my punk band in underground clubs in Chicago. It was a good time, but I got all of that music, not literally everything I ever did, but I got a lot of my music on the TR573 website. So if you want to check out some more of my stuff, lots of heavy metal. I was really big into heavy metal at the time. So yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. There's a guitar picker on every corner. Yeah, right. We didn't move here to be a star. Business brought me here in '89. Yeah. You'll produce me? No. I mean that wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea. I mean, I had absolutely no intention of going that route, but would anyone here like to hear any of my other stuff? Yeah, because I mean, I'm very proud of my music. That's one of the reasons why I include it in my videos. I'm trying to sort of, show what I do and what I've done. There's been a lot. I even wrote a classical piece. Obviously, I was never able to afford to get an orchestra to play it, so I have it like the version of it that I have on there. I had to do all electronically, like just I literally wrote the notes and then put it in my computer and then just had the computer play it. Fire away, yeah. Some people want to hear some more of my music. I could do that. Why not? If you guys want to hear it, it's weird. This is, and even with this, like with this YouTube thing and like my book and my shirt and all this stuff that I do, um, you know, I am very humble, so I always feel like, oh, I don't want to shove my stuff in people's faces. What if they don't like it? It's, um, but if you guys are interested in it, I'll be happy to do it. Believe me, I'll be very happy to show off a little bit for you guys. So here, let me pull up give me a genre that you want to hear, and if I've done that genre, I'll be happy to pick a song in that, or if not, I'll just randomly pick stuff. Mostly I have electronic music, like I said, a lot of heavy metal. That song you just heard, the funky stuff.
You have all your dance stuff.
And I'm working on it. I'm working on it, base. Hold on, because like I said, I wasn't planning on doing a music stream today, so I wasn't ready for that. So I got to dig a little bit and find my own stuff here to get ready to share with you guys. More fusion, classical jazz, classic rock. All right. I'm gonna start with one of my favorites that I did. I use it at the end credits of most of my videos, but it usually gets cut off. It just ends when the credits end. So now I'm just gonna play the whole thing through. And again, it's all me. Let's see. So in the meantime, how's everybody doing this morning? Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Love seeing you guys all here as always. Can't help but be happy in the mornings when I see so many people come out. Like, because I always, before I started doing this morning thing, I always kind of had a feeling that nobody's gonna come to a morning stream. But I always get people, and I always get good people. You guys are the best. I love you guys so much. Thank you for coming out. All right, let's see. Where is this? I got to stop yapping and start looking. Let's see, channels. Where's TR573?
Talk about the Frauditor.
9 subscribers I got on TR573. All right. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I love this. And the picture on here, I drew the picture myself, and it's my album cover. So you'll see it when I put this on. And you got a wall of Gibsons. I play a Les Paul custom, 1979 Les Paul custom, and then I got a really sweet Ibanez. I got a Schecter Devil Spine. I got a classical guitar. I have a acoustic guitar, and I got a big old Gibson Jazz box. Let's see. 2 Les Pauls at the house. That's beautiful. And one time a few years ago, I went to this guy in Chicago who does like these custom guitar things, and I had him restore my Les Paul because it was all old and beat up. And before, like the day that I was about to finalize it and give him the money and get everything all, I was a little leery about it. I'm like, man, this is my Les Paul, and this is going to be kind of expensive getting it restored. I don't know, if I should do this. That exact same day, my wife, and my kids at the time, we went downtown Chicago to the old Chicago Theater to see a play. We brought the kids because it was Dora the Explorer live. And while we were waiting to get in, Joshua Lee, welcome. So we were going to do that. And while we were waiting in the hallway, I was just looking at the architecture of the Chicago Theater. And I'm like, man, it's beautiful in here, you know? And the guy who was, you know, the worker there that was standing, you know, just waiting for everyone to get in says, yeah, man, we just had this restored. It was really expensive, but it's worth it, you know? It's just like getting an old Les Paul restored. And when he said that, that was the moment when I decided I'm literally standing here thinking if I should take the time to get my Les Paul restored. And then here's this guy talking about, oh, it's worth it, just like restoring an old Les Paul. Hey, Peck, welcome, welcome. So just so anyone who just joined us knows, what's happening is in the chat earlier, some of the newer people were saying they're not really familiar with my music. So they were asking if I could play one of my old songs. So I said, okay, you know, if you want to hear it, I'm going to play it. So here, let me go ahead and put that on. And again, another thing, all the music is me, and the album cover and the album art and all that was also me. I drew that myself. And here, I'll play this song. This is one of my favorites that I did. Yeah, that's one of my favorites that I did. That one took a while to record because I wanted it to sound real because it is. So I didn't just like use, because it's very easy to do. I didn't just use like the editing to double the guitars. I played the solo twice, and so I had to like hit it perfect every time. And there were a couple times where I was off a little bit, but then when I listened back to it, I'm like, well, that's the song. That's that song. I got a million other ones, but that song's called Interlude, but it's spelled Lude, Lewd. Because the idea is like when I put the album together, that's going to be somewhere in the middle. You know, it's going to be like I was thinking of the order, like because I got so many heavy metal songs that I want to spread out in between. I don't want it to be completely disjointed. Like one of my favorite albums, but a lot of people complain that the White Album is too disjointed, that there's no common thread. You know, like most of their albums, you can just listen to the whole thing straight through. You know, but that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I kind of wrote that as a piece to be a sort of a bridge in between, like to bring you down because it's mellow and laid back, and then it comes up at the end and then leads to the next level, and the album will grow in intensity as you listen to it. That's the idea. I gotta, you know. But and especially nowadays, people just find the song they like and then download that, and that's it. You know. Faded early. No, that's it. That's the song, man. Let's see. Wow, it looks like a lot of people are into music here. Actually, that's great. Yeah, I did do a music stream in the past, but it wasn't me showing off my music. It was me using other music, and the YouTube copyright police got a hold of me. So mostly instrumental, no vocals. Well, I got my rap song, and I got singing on some of my heavy metal songs, but the singing there is like kind of death metal sort of stuff. I'm not a very good singer, so I just piece it together when I can. I do have some songs with words, but most of them I didn't post because I was all kind of shy about my voice. If time travel existed, there would have been 1 billion people at Woodstock, right? Oh man, no rap, please. Well, I do have my rap that I do, but it's a Frauditor rap, so that's acceptable. Let's see, I got a bunch of electronic stuff. I got the one classical song I did. Oh yeah, I do have a song that I sang on, but I don't know if I'm ready to put that up because I don't like the way I sound in it. You know what? Why not? You people love me, so I don't think I have to be embarrassed with you guys. This song is very raw. This literally the only version I still have of it is the demo. I need to actually redo it, and that's another reason why the voice doesn't sound so good because it's just a scratch vocal. Comedic music is fine. Weird, yeah. You think I showed the rap song? Yeah, that I've added it to my intro here. Actually, let her fly. All right. I'll put it on. Like I said, the only version I have of it available right now is the demo. So please don't barf too much when you hear my singing. And the really bad analog sound quality. I was gonna put this as sort of a extra song at the end. There we go. Oh man, I almost don't want to do this because this is embarrassing. Every day, every way, I'm
my life without her. She had me right from the start. She is so beautiful. I gave her my heart. She had me right from the start. She is so beautiful that I gave her my heart. Yeah. She had me right from the start. She is so beautiful, but now she's breaking my heart. Yeah. Oh. A mystery. She wants to be. I wanna go forget her.
Yeah, so that. Oh, no, it went into another one of my songs right away. Oh, well, I'll just leave it. Why not? Dag nabbit. Alrighty. Yeah, and yeah, all those out of the stuff. That was my drawings. All those images. Um, who's this Les Claypool? That's a joke, right, Pack? You know who Les Claypool is. Give me a break. Um, he's a guy who played this little thing called a bass guitar, and he was pretty darn good at it. Still is, to be honest with you. Um, Wow, that's great. I started this whole music thing going in the chat. It's beautiful. I love it. Um, so anyway, speaking of frauditors, they all suck. What else needs to be said? Um, yeah, I could go on and on and on forever about those idiots. That's what I do, right? Um, but that's what you guys came here for. You didn't come here for me to show off my meager musical abilities. Um, But it is what it is. So, what did I want to address today? I was looking at my comments section, and I've I was responding yesterday to some comments. I was putting because I don't know what it is, and I've been talking about this for a few days now, but it keeps coming up over and over. So I keep bringing it up over and over. It seems like every day, for some reason, every day when I come in the morning before I come on and I go, because every morning I wake up early. I wake up at 6. I go on at 7, and between then I set stuff up for the show, but that only takes like 5 minutes, and then I read through my comments from the day before and respond to them or whatever. And every day I wake up and I got just comments about Bay Area transparency, comments about Bay Area BAT fan, BAT fan. We love BAT, blah blah blah. So now I've started saying it sounds to me like you guys are the bootlickers. You're licking BAT's boots. They must be the shiniest ones there are. And then I put links to BAT bragging about how he loves to bait cops and all that other good stuff. See, people are still talking about music. Let me tell you something, Peck. You talk about needing new headphones. That was always the one thing that I was willing to shell out the extra bucks over was a good pair of headphones. I love a good pair of headphones. Leave BAT alone. No, you know what? Just because so many of his sycophants came out and started, worshiping him on my channel, I'm going to start making more videos about him because screw that. He's one of the good ones. Yeah, that's what they all say. That's what everyone in the comments keeps telling me. Oh, but he's one of the good ones. He's one of the good ones. And again, and I always have to preface this and, make sure that I make it clear that I'm not an idiot. I understand that KC Camera Boy and Silence Boy and SGV News and NC Tyrant Hunter and Eli and frickin' media and all these other douche hammers are way, way bottom of the barrel slime bags, right? And other people, like Long Island and Amagansett and Bay Area are on a much higher level. That's true. But they're still in the barrel of shit, right? They might be floating closer to the top, but they're still in the barrel. It's still nonsense and garbage. And it's, oh boy. Hello, Terry Barnes. Welcome. Yeah, anyone who just joined, I've been some of the people in the comments were asking about the music I put on the beginning and in my streams and in my videos. And I was saying, well, I mean, it's my music. I wrote it. That's why I use it. No copyright, And then they're like, oh, well, we want to hear your music. So I've been playing some of my stuff, and looks like a couple people have been enjoying it. And then it turned into almost just a music stream for a minute there. So now I'm bringing it back a little bit to the base. Give the audience what they came for. Pooh is still Pooh. Exactly, base. Yeah, Ironton is a fan of mine. In fact, he was in here yesterday morning, and I love him. I always supported him. Well, okay. As soon as actually, I love his story, the Ironton Auditor. For those of you who don't know, Ironton Auditor's story is beautiful because he met this grifter named Chili De Castro. I know everyone hates that name. Everyone's sick and tired of hearing it. But every day the guy does another live stream, and every day there's 5,000 things he says that are so stupid that you just have to talk about it. But I'm not going to get onto that. But so Ironton Auditor, he met Chili. Chili convinced him to start auditing, but it didn't take long for him to realize that Chili was a piece of garbage. And he was smart enough to recognize what was actually going on. And he flipped it. So now he still does it, but now he does it the way it should be done. He sees cops pull someone over, he pulls out his camera, he films the interaction. If there's an issue or whatever, he'll catch it on film. If there's not, he stands a reasonable distance away. He doesn't scream at the cops. He doesn't, as soon as the police pull someone over, immediately, without having anything to do with the stop, start screaming at the cop, what's your name and badge number? You're going to get fired and lose your qualified immunity, you piece of garbage. No, he just stands there. He films the situation. I've even seen him talk to the cops afterwards. and almost like a legitimate independent journalist might do, and interview them about what happened, what's going on. Was this just a regular pool? Oh yeah, no, and they have nice conversations and everything's good. And I love the fact that when you see videos like his, what that proves to me is that we're right and they're wrong. Because if they were right, the second the cops saw him, they would be beating him down because he's a horrible dude that's actually filming the cops and hiding transparency and all this. But what actually happens in his videos? He doesn't get aggressive with the cops, and they don't respond by being aggressive with him. What a concept! Mind blowing that that's possible, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. You know what, Base Horseman? Um, I could show that one um, because it's obviously fake. It's obviously toys, but because it's a gunfight, YouTube doesn't like that, even though they'll show clips from, Django Unchained. Those shootouts are okay, but mine with the toy plastic gun and really fake sounding sound effects, they have a problem with that. So I don't know. Um, maybe maybe if I had a little bit of them there super chat, so I don't have to worry about monetization, I could show it. Nah. Um, Let's see. Yeah, it is. It's. I did a lot of work on that one too because I had. And what's funny is when I first posted that video, so many people in the comments were saying insane things like, "Wait a minute, I don't think that's a real cop." Like, it's me. My badge is literally a piece of paper that I wrote the word police on very sloppily in pen. And the sticker's like falling off of my shirt while I'm filming it. And my, nameplate is, again, it's just a sticker that I put on there. Um, and all right, Archangel, it was great seeing you again. Thank you for coming out. Um, Always good to see you in here. Uh, But anyway, yeah. So like everything in the video was so obviously fake. The gun had an orange tip, so you could tell it was a toy gun, And the comment section from the pro frauditor people were all like, "I don't think that cop's real. I think this is clickbait. I think this was fake." I'm like, dude, it's obviously a sketch. It's supposed to be comedy. Man, those people are dumb. They are so dumb. And it's funny too because I always point out when I do their videos that their narrative never matches their content, right? So it seems pretty obvious to me that they don't know how to uh, how to do that, how to look at something and process the information. That's oh my goodness. Oh, holy crap. All right, Base Horseman, you know what? You know what? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And just for you, because you did that, I will go ahead and play your request. Well, on clean hands, you're about to see it. And thank you for joining me. Um, yep, that super chat was a request for this video, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. I was just kidding when I said the super chat thing. I didn't think anyone would actually do it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. I got to get this stupid mini player to stop playing. Okay. Let's go back and pull that video up for you guys. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. This is an older video of mine. Some of you have been following me for a while, might have already seen it. But if you haven't, you're going to enjoy it because I put a lot of work into this because it's another one where I play two different characters, but you only ever see one on screen. There's actually three people in the video, and I'm all of them. So Let's see, where is it? I got to go back a little bit because it's older, so it'll take me a second. Do 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 whoop. Do 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 bum ba-dum bum 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 bum. That reminds me of a funny story. While I'm pulling this video up, I was actually there was a week of Jeopardy that was filmed in Chicago, and I actually went to the filming. I was there in the audience, in the live studio audience, and a couple of fascinating things that I learned by being there was, number one, Alex Trebek is freaking hilarious. The dude's like a stand-up comic. I had no idea how funny he is because he seems so dry on the show. But before they started filming, he came out and he did like a full 20-minute set of jokes, and they were absolutely hilarious. And then the other thing about Jeopardy that I did not know, that I learned from actually being in the studio audience, was that they film the entire week's worth all in one day. So what would happen is they would film an episode, then the contestants would actually go backstage, change their clothes so it looks like it's a different day, and then come back, and then there would be the next day. And at one point, one of the questions that they asked, the guy gave the answer. He gave the right answer, but they said he was wrong. He disputed it. And then the judges went back, looked it up, realized that they were wrong and he was right. And then they just refilmed that whole bit. And that was kind of like, that was weird, because when you see the final show, you just see the question, answer, that's it, it's done. But being there watching it live, it's like, oh, wow, they made a mistake. They fixed it. Like you don't think about, the stuff that happens behind the scenes in a situation like that. So it was very fascinating to see. So anyway, guys, like I said, I had a request, and I got a wonderful, beautiful super chat for it. So I'm going to go ahead and play it right now. This is a video I made a while ago called Ultimate First Amendment Audit Fail. And that's me just as a fake cop. I should have said headphone warning.
Name and badge number? What the hell are you doing? No. I don't answer questions. All right? You work for me. I don't work for you. Well, forget about the stupid video and get out of here. Forget the video. Oh, I see. Forget the video. Right. So you see what they're doing, guys? You see what he's doing? He's trying to tell me that he doesn't want me to engage in a First Amendment protected activity. But this is a dangerous situation. What dangerous? What do you mean dangerous? I have a camera. What, are you afraid of a camera? The only reason you'd be afraid of a camera is if it was filming you doing something illegal. And I already got tons of footage of you doing illegal stuff. See? They're completely out of control, these cops, man. This is ridiculous. It's unacceptable. I got you for failure to identify. I got you for disturbing the peace. I got you committing all kinds of crimes already. It's dangerous for you, not me. Dangerous for you. My safety is none of your concern, okay? Your only concern is doing your job. And your job is to protect the First Amendment. You took an oath to the Constitution. It's your job to protect and defend it. I have the First Amendment right to be here and to record. Therefore, it is your job as my employee to protect the First Amendment. This guy's a tyrant. You're a tyrant, sir. I can't believe that you're doing this. I got shot. See, if you weren't so worried about violating my rights, I probably would have never got. Don't touch me. Don't you touch me. Keep your hands off me. That's assault. That's assault. So not only do I have you for failure to identify, disturbing the peace, violating the First Amendment, now I got you for assault. You're harassing me, telling me to leave. I got you for harassment. I got all this on video.
Civilian down.
Civilians been hit. I need
Okay, you
ambulance
know
as soon as
what?
possible.
I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue the city. I'm going to sue the state. I'm going to sue the county. I'm going to sue everybody. And you know what? You hiding behind that tree over there. I saw you shooting. You're the one who shot me. I'm going to sue you too. You're paying my medical bills. And then I'm going to put all this on YouTube. Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. Look, prison time is one thing. But if you're going to put this on YouTube, man, I can't afford to have my online reputation ruined like that. I surrender, man. I give up. Oh, look, and now I got this cop for stealing that guy's gun and kidnapping. He's kidnapping that guy. And, hey, wait, no, don't touch my phone. Don't touch my phone. Hands off, man. Hey, no, don't turn that off. Don't you turn that off.
Yes, that's one of my classics. Um, also, I don't. Well, I'm sure you did notice, but I don't know if you realize that I very much filmed vertically on purpose because, especially at that time, because like I said, that was older. A lot of these guys were putting out vertical videos because they just didn't know how to use their phones. It was hilarious. So I did that on purpose too. Um, but yeah, can you believe that there were people in my comments that thought that that was supposed to be real and were disappointed when when like it wasn't like they thought it was clickbait or whatever. It's that they were complaining like, wait a minute, that cop, man, he shouldn't have done that. He looked weird. Or I'm like, dude, I'm wearing black overalls with a couple of fake stickers on my shirt and an obviously toy gun. What are you talking about? I'm reporting the street for violence. Yes. Anyway, I got another super while we were up there from Akiro 808 State. I always appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much. Support for the channel. And I should put my music on Bandcamp. Well, like I said, I have thought about making my music available. I just like I said, it's weird because with my music, I've always kind of held back a little bit because I don't know. Like I said, I'm a humble guy, and I feel a little like I don't know, man. Do I really want to put this all out there? ATV Thunder, welcome. Good to see you again. We were just reminiscing on some of my older stuff, and a lot of people in the chat have been asking about my music, so I've actually been featuring some of my songs and stuff. And then I just showed a video I made back in the old days of me dressed up as a cop in a shootout and an auditor. I played the auditor too, auditing the cop while he's in the middle of a shootout and saying all the same nonsense they always do. And of course, the fans of the auditors never get the irony. This is another thing, and I think I talked about this a little bit on yesterday's stream. But again, like I said, I wake up in the morning, I read my comments, and I see these people saying this stuff, and it's like, oh, come on, you're still talking about this? And one of the things that I've been seeing a lot and saw again today is when I made my video about Bay Area transparency, there's a clip in the video where he's saying the good old fashioned, well known Frauditor line. If you don't want to be filmed, why don't you get a job in the private sector? And then I cut to a clip of someone else auditing a Tesla dealership. And all of the Bay Area Transparency fans are going nuts over that, saying, that's not Bay Area auditing the place. That doesn't count. They were on the sidewalk. That's not the same. And it's like, none of you morons got the point. No one seems to understand. So many auditors use the argument that if you don't like being filmed, get a job in the private sector. They all, not all of them, but a lot of them say that over and over and over. It's a standard frauditor line. The problem is there are so many auditors out there that are auditing private businesses that the idea of getting a job in the private sector to avoid frauditors doesn't hold up because they audit private businesses all the time now. I've seen videos where they audit fast food joints. I've seen videos where they audit churches, where they audit truck stops, where they audit glass manufacturers, whatever. You, if they're out there and it's spreading, they're gonna go everywhere. So you can't just not work for the city and all of a sudden the frauditors are going to leave you alone. Eventually, Amagansett Press is going to show up with his camera. Eventually, NC Tyrant Hunter is going to show up with his camera. Eventually, Silence Boy or KC Camera Boy or any of these idiots who audit private businesses are going to show up. And none of them also seem to understand that so much of this is also related to the fact that they're how could I say this? The idea that they're auditing private businesses at all, right? Like, I get the argument that they're on the sidewalk. I get the argument that technically, legally, they can film. But what doesn't hold up is the overall, the umbrella argument for the whole thing is we do this to hold the government accountable. How does auditing a private business have anything to do with the government on any level? How does auditing a church or Kentucky Fried Chicken have to do with government accountability? Nothing. No matter how many times they try to fraud-splain it to me, I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me at all. I don't get it. Other than the only way that I can figure it out is they do it because nowadays there's a lot of jurisdictions that specifically go out of their way to train the cops to just ignore these idiots. So they're not getting the police interaction that they're looking for. So what do? They audit regular businesses and regular people, intentionally being suspicious, intentionally looking like they're doing something wrong, intentionally being rude and all that, so that specifically their goal is to get the people in the business to call the cops. Then the cops have to respond to the call. So then the cops have no choice but to engage these guys. And that gives them their excuse to audit the police. And sorry, catching up with the chats here. Yeah, just for money, they don't care. They don't care about rights at all. It's all a scam. And the other day, I think it was just yesterday, DirectD put a new video out. And the title of the video was Cops Take the Bait. I don't even have to go on. Like, they're admitting flat out in the title of the video that they were cop baiting. Like, they don't even try to hide it. There's another guy who audits in what he calls his bait car. He drives it around on purpose, knowing that he purposely went out of his way to break laws or ordinances or whatever it is, so that he will get pulled over, so that he could film the interaction. And he calls it the bait car. Like, how is... It's so transparent. It's so obvious that these guys are full of it, and they're getting to the point now where they don't even care. They don't even care. Yeah. And hey, welcome Lawyer's Corner and Unclean. I don't remember if I said hello to you guys earlier. Forgiven Jerry, hello, welcome. Just catching up with making sure I say hello to everybody, because I don't get 2,000 people in here, so I actually can say hi to literally everyone. Um, if I missed anyone, I apologize. Um, News Now Omaha is a cop baiter and a frauditor. News Now Omaha he's just as bad as any of them, but if you don't know, when he first started, he was way, way worse because he used to, hello, Mike. He used to purposely go out of his way to make it look like he was reaching for a gun when he would get stopped by the cops. And eventually he figured out that, yeah, that's a dumb idea. I'm going to stop doing that. So he still does everything else, but he doesn't do the pretending he's going for a gun thing. Oh, I was just scratching my back. That's not against the law. Captain Happy, hello. Um, yeah, exactly. And when I interviewed Direct D on this channel a while back, he tried to fraud explain that to me. And what he said was, yeah, man, of course we do that on purpose. I'm like, you're admitting it? And he's like, well, yeah, that's the whole point. I'm like, and then Terry Barnes, hello. So what he said, his fraud explain explanation for why they do it, the idea is, apparently, at least for him, is I'm going to get in the cops' faces. I'm going to give them an attitude. I'm going to yell at them. I'm going to swear at them. I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. Because if they can't handle some idiot with a camera shouting at them, how are they supposed to handle a real criminal? It's like, but you are a real criminal. You just do this on the side. Oh, man. And yeah, wrestling is real too. That's the other thing that really irks me is the whole idea that, and I've covered this before, but they keep trying to make the argument that when they don't speak or when they refuse to answer questions and when they refuse to ID and all these things that they intentionally do, they always say their argument, their fraud splain is if, because I see, real quick, I want to preface this with a little bit of a disclaimer here. One of the reasons why I'm able to do this the way I'm able to do it, and I actually was able to write a book about it, is because I understand the mentality of the frauditors. I've spoken with them. I've watched their interviews with Frauditor Troll. I've watched their live streams where they fraud explain what they're doing and why they're doing it. And what they say is when they do all those things, the reason they say the reason they do it is to get an organic, natural, real reaction from these people. And this is the important part that I want to point out. And they specifically don't answer questions, don't ID, blah, 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 because they do not want to influence the reaction. They want just a complete, natural, organic reaction. Here's the problem. It is specifically the things that they do to get a natural reaction without in any way influencing that reaction. It is specifically those things that influence the reaction they're getting. I've had my phone out in public. I've filmed things in public. I've seen it done a million times. I've done it a million times. None of these things ever happened to me. A natural, real, organic reaction that you have no influence over the reaction would not be you purposely going out of your way to act a certain way that's going to cause a negative reaction. You're absolutely influencing the reaction by acting the way you do. And I'm thinking of even putting this on a t-shirt. It's not the camera. It's the cameraman. It's the dude holding the camera. In fact, I had another t-shirt idea because I saw CH&TY Audits t-shirt is a picture of a badge, and then it says police, the only people small enough to hide behind a badge. And I wanted to take that exact same design, but make it a picture of a cell phone, and frauditors, the only people small enough to hide behind a phone. Because that's what they do, right? They hide behind their camera because they know if you're being filmed, you're not going to attack somebody because they're going to have it on film. So nobody's going to beat them up. And especially the cops, they're not going to hit you if you're filming them, right? Not like the cops are going around hitting people kind of a thing. But the idea is you're the one that's hiding behind your cell phone when you're doing this. You know you're not going to get, well, that you are going to get the type of reaction you're looking for because you're behind the camera and you're they drive me so nuts. And the fact that so many of their followers believe this nonsense, I'm even not just trying to turn it around on the frauditors themselves, but I'm starting to try and turn it around on their fans too. Like, after I've started getting all these Bay Area transparency people showing up in my comments, I'm starting to base my responses on flipping it, telling them that they're bootlickers and that BAT must have really shiny boots, and calling them his sheeple. Right? Oh, so you guys are just BAT sheeple. You're just frauditor sheeple. All the stuff that they call us, like, you just follow the government. Well, you just follow the frauditor. Whatever he says, oh, yeah. Hey, here's a video of two cops literally standing, not saying a word, just standing there. And I'm going to narrate on my video, oh my God, look at these horrible tyrants violating my rights. And your brain dead audience is going to look at two cops literally doing nothing but hear you saying that they're violating your rights, and then blast them in the comments. Yeah, I can't believe these tyrants are doing this. Mindless drones, do whatever the frauditor says. These cops are wrong because you said they're wrong. These cops tyrants because you said they are tyrants. I will do whatever the frauditor tells me to do. I'm a puppet to the frauditor world. Yeah, there are. Yeah, Pac, I have noticed that there are some cops there are some frauditors who say that cops are the real sovereign citizens. I don't know where they got that. Let's see. Sometimes I wish there was something that could be done with Auditing America. Um, Auditing America and Fake Mike, they both have gotten this thing down pat. When it comes to knowing how to fraud it without crossing the line to be arrested, while at the same time pushing that line as far as you possibly can, I gotta give them credit. They are freaking experts at it. Because if they weren't, I would say they should be getting arrested 2-3 times a week the way they act. But they know. They've been doing it for so long. They've become so good at getting right to that point, pushing just hard enough to where they're just about to cross the line. They're pushing it. They're pushing the line, but they don't cross it. And oh man, because in my opinion, they cross the line all the time. But that's part of the problem with these guys, and one of the reasons why it's obvious to me and so transparent to me and obvious that they're pulling a scam, because they know that the cops aren't going to do anything, and they play that out as hard as they can, because you're not, well, I mean, there are situations where they do get arrested, but nowhere near as often as they should. Here's another thing I wanted to talk about. I was thinking about this the other day. I've seen so many hundreds of these videos of these idiots that there's something that I hear all the time. And I wanted Violet Wings and Icus. Did I say hello to you guys earlier? Welcome. Good to see you guys again. I should make a shirt saying it's not the camera, it's the cameraman. I think I will. I only got 2 shirts on my store right now. That would be a great. I just got to figure out what the design's going to be exactly. Anyway, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I see this all the time with these idiots. One of the things that they love to say, right, is, hey, cops cannot put on their lights to pull someone over. That cops are only allowed to use their lights if it's a legitimate emergency situation. Now, different jurisdictions, different rules, different policies, but generally it's the lights with the siren that is for an emergency. When they're trying to pull you over and you're not pulling over and they give you a little, right, just to let you know, hey, I'm behind you, idiot, right? And you got the cherries and berries flashing. But their argument that cops can't put their lights on to pull someone over, I've been thinking about that a lot because I realized, okay, so if this whole frauditing thing actually gets big enough to where they actually start getting changes to the laws, and we've all discussed this before, some of the changes that are already being proposed or actually passed in certain jurisdictions do limit the right to film to an extent, which is the exact opposite of what they claim to be trying to do. And I was thinking about that whole thing with the lights and not being able to pull you over with them on. I live in the real world, not their fantasy sovereign citizen universe or whatever you want to call it, right? Their fraud city. And I was thinking about it and I realized, you know what? If they ever actually do get something done as far as that specifically goes with the lights for an emergency and not pulling people over with the lights and all that, in the real world, practical reality, they're not going to get rid of that. The only thing that would happen at all, if anything does, is that they will, the police, the government, whatever, will actually add the specific wording in the law that police are allowed to put their lights on to pull someone over. That's what's going to happen. Because they're going to say, well, this law and that law and this rule and that policy say you shouldn't put your lights on unless it's an emergency. Okay, so their stated goal is to get them to remove that rule altogether so that cops can't do that. But that's never going to happen. The only thing that might happen is that they would change the wording of the law to specifically add that they can use their lights to pull people over. And that goes back to so much of what they say, right? It's like, it reminds me of back in the old days, for those of you young fellas out there who might not know what I'm talking about. If you buy a cup of coffee, on the lid, it's going to say, caution, contents are hot. The reason it says that is because back in the old days when I was a little guy, a little hez, some lady went to McDonald's, bought a cup of coffee, and accidentally spilled some stuff on her lap and got 3rd-degree burns on her legs. Sued McDonald's and won because it isn't written anywhere on the cup that coffee is hot. Everybody freaked out and laughed and joked and said, obviously it's hot. It's coffee. It's hot coffee. Of course it's hot. How could you not? Why do they have to write hot on the lid for you to know that it's hot. But she won the case, and everyone writes contents hot on their coffee now. That's where I see auditors. Like, so we have to read, for example, poster 7, right? Poster 7 is like whatever it says and this and that, what it actually is, the practical reality of its purpose and what it is. There's a rule book for the post office. It's a freaking book, right? It would, the actual printed copy would be like the size of a phone book. It's huge. There's tons of information in there. Poster 7 exists as a sort of summary of those rules so that it could be small, compact, and you could easily post it on the wall. The way frauditors look at it, it's like the only other option would be to post the entire frickin' rule book on the wall. Like, you have to put everything. There can't be any common sense. You can't say, hey, this office is a private office. Please don't come in here. No, you have to put a sign on the door that says, this is a private office. Do not enter. Per code section 3429-76410, decided by Judge so-and-so, blah, 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 and put a 14-page article on the door, because if it just says private, oh, that sign doesn't count. There's no law attached to it. Attach a law to it. That law doesn't go over my constitutional rights. So now you have to write the entire... It's insane. It's insane. The way these guys talk, they want to live in a world where there's a sign that says breathe, put on shoes, think, have an idea, turn left, lift your arm. But like, everything has to be specifically written or it doesn't count. And even if it is, it doesn't matter because it violates their rights to put the sign up anyway. So even then you wouldn't win, because you can't win, because these guys are douchebags. Oh my goodness gracious me. Yeah, slippery when wet on the floor. Yep. Sorry, catching up with the chat. Let's see. A label on hemorrhoid cream saying don't take orally. It's people like the woman who sued McDonald's as to why we have a warning label on hemorrhoid cream. Okay. Yeah. Okay, commentator auditor. That reminds me of an old joke. This joke's been around for a while. Guy goes to a doctor. He says, I'm constipated really bad. I don't know what to do. It hurts, So the doctor writes him a prescription and for suppositories to help him go potty. So he has to come back a week later for a checkup. Comes back a week later. Hello, baby. Hi, hello, baby. So anyway, he goes back to the doctor a week later. Oh, and PMAX is in the house. Welcome. So he's got to poo real bad. The doctor wrote him a prescription for suppositories. He goes home, comes back 2 weeks later for his checkup, sees the doctor, and says, it's not helping at all. That medicine you gave me isn't doing anything. And the doctor says, well, are you sure you're using it right? And the guy says, yeah, what am I supposed to do? Shove it up my ass? Anyway, I got that from Gilbert Gottfried. R.I.P. Let's see. I love that. I absolutely love that. The bar I was in had a door saying look left and the wall said look right. Yeah, that's great. Oh, do you remember when people were taking horse stuff to cure COVID? Yeah. See, all right. So that's a whole nother thing. In fact, how many of you guys saw Kick's stream yesterday? Because he was talking about this webpage he found where this lady is talking about how she has to become a sovereign citizen because she knows that the surveillance cameras, she's saying, that are everywhere are actually government conspiracy machines that use magical waves to control our brains and make us submit to their will. It's almost as bad as a few years ago. Those of you who don't know, there was a conspiracy theory, and well, I guess not amazingly anymore in the modern era, right? There were people who believed it, and it was that there's no such thing as birds, that those things are all government drones with hidden cameras that are there to watch and to listen to us. And somebody saying that could be freaking hilarious. That would be great. That's an awesome joke, conspiracy theory. But the fact that people actually believed it, that's what blows my mind. Like, how freaking stupid are people? Like, really? And okay, like, not trying to get into this whole, like, you know, want to keep everything neutral, try not to be political on either end, or, you know, religious, don't want to offend anybody or this or that, but just saying, because the Bible is one of the oldest texts in the world, it's been around for literally thousands of years. The fact that Noah's Ark, at the end, it was a bird, a dove with an olive branch in its mouth, like, just goes to prove, if people were talking about birds 4,000 years ago, that birds aren't something that were just invented by the government to surveil us. They've been around forever. And the old ancient texts talking about birds prove that they've been around forever. Like, how could anybody believe that that's a legit anything and not take it as a joke? I thought it was hilarious, and then people started taking it serious. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh man, this is amazing. Yeah. It's all, the Bible's far from the oldest written text. No, I know. I'm just saying it's just an example. Like, I wanted to use the example of the dove, right? So that's why I'm like, well, okay, that's in the Bible, and whenever you talk about the Bible, you could alienate people because they don't want to think you're being preachy or whatever. So that's why I came up with that whole disclaimer. I wasn't trying to actually, whatever. So the point is, no matter what year it was written, it's obviously long enough ago that they didn't have the technology to build bird camera, microphone, listening devices, and populate the entire world with billions of them. Even Alfred Hitchcock made the birds before the technology existed to do that. So there. Sorry, reading. Yeah, so that whole thing is insane. But anyway, these frauditors, a lot of them are cut from the same cloth. Is the point? They seem, so many of them. Again, obviously, if you're here, you know that the majority of them are just idiots trying to make money and don't care about any of this stuff. Don't think about any of this stuff. They're just doing it as a grift. But for the ones that actually do believe in what they're doing, they're almost worse, because if they actually believe it, then they actually are legitimately that stupid. And it drives me nuts to see how many morons we have walking around in this country. sometimes it makes me think we should bring back the draft so we could weed some of these guys out. But that's a whole nother thing. Let's see. Sorry, just trying to catch up on the chat. On the chat, yeah, Violet. Talking about the birds. That's one of the things I've been trying to like. My kids, and especially my older son, he's really starting to get into the older stuff. Like he'll come up to me and say things to me like, "Dad, can we watch 2001: A Space Odyssey again?" And the other day I showed him Psycho, and now he wants to see the birds. I can't find a streaming service that has it. I have to rent it. But anyway, it's like, yeah, like he's getting into this stuff. And I realized the other day that I taught him very well because we could get into the whole whether or not he's not the little guy, because you guys have seen the little guy on here a couple times. Not him, his brother, his older brother. Just want to make sure you don't think that I'm about to say is applying to a little kid. No, he's a little older. But anyway, he's telling me, "Oh, I always hear about this Quentin Tarantino guy. What's up with this Quentin Tarantino guy?" And it's like, well, I don't think it's appropriate that you should be watching his movies, but we talked for a while, went back and forth, and we agreed on Reservoir Dogs. So I showed him Reservoir Dogs. And when it was over, he didn't say, "Oh, that was too violent." He didn't say, "Oh, that was horrible," and all the bad language and blah, blah, blah. No. You know what this kid said to me? He said, "Dad, did you notice that in the beginning, when they were going around the table, the close-ups that they showed of everyone sitting at the table, the one they didn't show was Mr. Orange, and he's the one who turns out to be the..." Okay, no spoilers, but if you didn't see it. But the fact that he's looking at movies to that degree, that he's looking for mise en scène within the film, like, I got my boy trained right. He knows how to watch a movie. Akira 88's leaving us. All right. Have a good day. Good to see you again. Yes, Peck, you are absolutely correct about Nosferatu. That movie is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, he is a smart kid. That's one of the things too. Like, because it all started with him understanding movies in this way, with me talking to him, because they're like, I always watch old movies, and he would go, "Oh, well, why do you like this crap?" Or whatever. And I would sit him down and I would explain to him. I'd be like, "All right, look, let me go through as we're watching this movie and point things out to you. Like, hey, you see that? All right." And like, okay, here, I'll give you an example. We were watching Jaws. Now that's a thing in my family, because Jaws is a 4th of July movie. We always watch Jaws on the 4th of July. It's a family tradition. It's a big thing. We always watch Jaws. So just this last 4th of July, we're watching Jaws. And we're sitting there watching the movie, and my son says, "Hey, Dad." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Spielberg's one of the good ones, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right. So does that mean that if he goes out of his way to show something, that's going to come in the story later, and that's why he went out of his way to show it?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course." He's like, "Well, then why did he go out of his way to put a close-up on the big knife?" My dog's barking. I don't know if it's messing up my feed. So, Dad, when they go out of their way to show a close-up of the machete that Quint sticks in the side of the boat, is that going to come in later? And I said, "You tell me." And then we're watching the movie, And later on, the shark comes up on the boat. And what does Quint do? He grabs the machete from the side, pulls it out of the boat, and starts stabbing the shark with it. And he just looks at me and he's like, he did bring it up later. He did set it up on purpose. I'm like, now you know why the great movies are the great movies. Because they do subtle stuff like that that maybe you didn't notice, but your brain did. And when you watch these movies, and they're great, incredible, awesome movies, but you're not quite sure why, they just are. It's because the best movies put that kind of stuff in there. And subconsciously, you see it. And it all comes together in your mind. And bam. Let's see. Oh, all right. See, now this is a thing with me and my son because I have my son really deeply down the Stanley Kubrick rabbit hole. He loves Stanley Kubrick, but he will not watch A Clockwork Orange. First of all, I'm not even sure that I would want him to, but one time I was trying to, teach him about movies and the art of filmmaking, and what elevates a movie higher than the level of entertainment into art. And we were talking about Kubrick because I know Kubrick's one of his favorites, but I also know that I'm not sure he's ready for Clockwork Orange. But I wanted to show him the very beginning because it's one of the greatest intros, in my opinion, of any movie ever. Because you see the Warner Brothers logo, then you see just an orange screen, and then you see a close-up of Alex's eyes. And then the camera pans back instead of an establishing shot and then the characters. It starts with the character because this is the guy. You're going to see his story. That's what the movie is. You're looking at him. And then the camera pans out to the establishing shot. And it's brilliant the way it's done. And I wanted him to see that. But I forgot that as the camera is panning back, you see that the bar, you get your Malacco, right, from the breasts of the naked women statues. The second he saw that, he was like, turn it off, turn it off. First, Alex scared the crap out of him when he's staring at the camera with that face, that famous Stanley Kubrick shot, right? And the fake eyelash, and you see the droogs, and they're all getting drunk. And so he was already done. He's like, no, turn it off, turn it off. So I'm like, yeah, he's not ready for Clockwork Orange at all. Let's see. Oh, yeah, now we're talking about Kubrick, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket. I love all those movies. Peck says that The Shining was tame. It's psychological horror. See, the problem with modern horror films is that they rely very heavily. I mean, there are exceptions. I don't want to sit here and just start naming all the movies that are good. But in general, overall, modern horror films rely on the gore and the jump scares. But movies like The Shining, Birds, Halloween, the original, Psycho, movies like that rely on getting in your head, the psychological horror. The Shining is definitely a slow burn, but the point is to give it time to get under your skin. Like you're watching the movie and you see the kid, riding his tricycle down the hall, and then you see two little girls standing there and they start talking to him. And it's like, okay, and then it flashes of some blood. And it's real easy to just kind of write that off like, okay, so what? But then you got to remember, the hotel is empty. There's nobody in the hotel. And all of a sudden, here are two little girls talking to you. And there's nobody there. And there's nobody there, but there they are, right in front of you. Like, Well, obviously you like Chucky Pack. It's your avatar. Um, yeah. Well, I mean, comedy horror. What's better than Evil Dead 2 for that? Wait. Bride of Chucky. El Weedskadore's in the house. What's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome. Salacious, yes. Yes, that's definitely. Um, anyway, Weedskadore, welcome. Good to see you as always. I don't know what happened. This stream's been bouncing all over the place. We were talking about frauditors, and then we started talking about music, and then we started talking about frauditors again, and then that led us back to movies, and that's what we're talking about now, which is fine. Hey, I don't care. If you guys are having a good time, I'm having a great time. I love this stuff. Music and movies are my two favorite things besides, making my own content for YouTube. Um, yeah, modern horror movies, most of them are really bad. I really liked The Lighthouse and The Witch, both directed by the same man. Um, Barry Lyndon is one of the most gorgeous films ever made. Back to Stanley Kubrick. See, you can't beat the master, man. Um, you dig the jams. Yeah, I was actually people. There were some people in here. Oh, and Andrew Forrest. I didn't say hello to you. Army of Darkness. Yes, absolutely. Um, this is my boomstick. Yep. So anyway, um, with the again for the people who just joined us, with the music thing, what happened was there were some people in the chat uh, during my intro. The music that was playing, they're like, "Who wrote this song?" I'm like, "Well, I did." They're like, "Oh, you write music?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff. Can we hear some of your stuff?" So I actually played a couple of my tunes on here. Um, oh, here we go. Let's see. The White Album and The Shining. Um, I don't know. I haven't heard that one. I heard about Pink Floyd and The Wizard of Oz. I'd love to check that out because that's two of my favorite things: The White Album and The Shining. Um, Sam Peckinpah, yeah, that's good stuff too. Um, music and film, yeah, that's I love them both more than anything. Except, well, I mean, obviously my family and this and that, but I mean, entertainment wise, those are my two favorite art forms: music and movies. Um, Salacious doesn't like horror films, obviously. Um, let's see. There's this whole thing about the Beatles and the White Album. Oh, okay, you might be mistaken. I don't know. Like I said, I'd be more than happy to check that out because I love both of them. Pink Floyd and Dark Side of the Moon goes well with the. Yep, that's the one. If you start it just at the right moment, you get some really wild syncs in there. But to be perfectly honest, what I believe is that what happened was in the 90s, somebody, probably a college student, was freaking high and they were watching The Wizard of Oz with the sound off while listening to Pink Floyd and noticed, wow, they go together, posted it on the internet, and then everybody tried it. And because there are a lot of bits that just happened to coincidentally work together, it became like, oh, wow, look at this amazing. Um, when a Stranger Calls. Okay, Analyze. Have you ever seen a movie? What's the name of it? I think it's called I Know Who You Are and I Saw What You Did. If you don't know that movie, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't remember if that's the title, but um, When a Stranger Calls was like an 80s thing. Hey, Miranda. Hello, welcome, and thank you very much for the super chat. Good morning, and hello, everyone. Hello to you. Always good to see you in here. Uh, great to have you, as always. We were just, we've been here chatting all morning, and like I said, for, just coming in here, we started out talking about music a little bit, then we did some frauditor stuff, and then somehow it led to movies, and now we're back on music, which is fine with me. Peck, my little son, Return to Oz is his favorite Wizard of Oz movies. He even likes that better than the original. Um, We played the White Album daily before and after school. Yeah, I Kiss. I'll tell you, it's hard for me when it comes to the Beatles because I had to just to be able to deal with it in my own head. I had to completely categorize because I couldn't take any one uh, one Beatles album and say that's the best one. It's like Sergeant Pepper is the most important one. Abbey Road is the best sounding one. Revolver is my favorite to sit and listen to. Um, the White Album is the album that makes it possible to say and literally mean the Beatles did everything. Because without the White Album, there are a lot of genres that you could argue that they never touched. But once you include the White Album, they got Helter Skelter on there, they got Revolution 9 on there, and everything in between. They got country, they got blues, they got rock and roll, they got heavy metal, they got the very last song is a lullaby. I mean, they covered everything after that. Um, so let's see. I know what you did last summer. Yeah, that's not the movie I'm talking about. I'm talking about a movie from the 60s where, well, hello, Davian, where what happens is these two little girls are home alone and they decide to make prank calls. So they make a prank call and they say, I know who you are and I saw what you did. And then they hang up and giggle because they're, little teenage girls. And then they just randomly dial another 7 numbers. I know who you are and I saw what you did. And they hang up. Then the movie cuts to a guy murdering his wife. And then he takes the body and he buries it. Then he comes back in the house and his phone rings. And he picks it up and he hears, I know who you are. And I saw what you did. Click. That's when the movie gets good. Because now this guy is going to find out who called him. And he's going to take care of this whole situation. And it becomes this whole thing. And all of those other like phone call type movies, that was the original one where it was based on phone calls. And I wish I could remember the name of it. It came out in the 60s. You saw that at the drive-in. Yeah, that was a big movie at the time. The only thing I didn't like about that movie is at the end, the ending credits have a happy song playing, like a good old 60s song, gonna dance and have some fun and singing along. It's almost like you just watched The Ghost and Mr. Chicken. Like this movie had some really intensity in it, and then we end with like happy 60s music, la 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 la. Yeah, it was the basis of tons of 90s horror films. I grew up with my mom and dad blasting the Beatles. Yeah, man. I grew up with the Chipmunks singing the Beatles and thought they ripped off the Chipmunks. That's hilarious. I'll tell you a good Beatles story involving like my kids. My older son, this was about a year ago. It's one of these moments that you couldn't write. If you put it in a movie, people might not believe it. Like, this is what happened. This is legit. 100% true story. I'm driving. Oh, Miranda, look at this. Another super. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. I remember a creepy movie when I was younger called The Blob or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? There were 2 of them. There was The Blob, and then there was the remake of The Blob. So yeah, that movie's been made twice, and yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good drive-in movie back in the day. I Saw What You Did, 1965. Thank you, Damien. Thank you very much. Yeah, Blob is the 50s. Yep. Anyway, so what happened with that whole thing? My kids thought all the songs from Shrek were just from that movie. No, there were Monkees covers in there that were great too. The Blob with Steve McQueen. Yep. Uh, good music with bad visuals. Bad visuals from a Kubrick movie, dude. All right, Peck, I love you, man, but there's no such thing as bad visuals in a Kubrick movie. I will admit, the quality of the images on Clockwork Orange are not tip top, especially coming off of 2001: A Space Odyssey. But that was a project that was kind of more of a pet project. Like, of course, just like every other Kubrick movie, the studio was a little leery about it. And then once it came out and made a crap ton of money, they were like, okay, all right, all right. But as big and as popular as 2001 was, doing Clockwork Orange as a follow up to that, the studio still wasn't convinced yet that no matter what this guy touched was going to turn into gold, even though he had already done Spartacus at that point and Lolita and all these other big, huge hit movies. It wasn't until after Clockwork Orange that they were like, okay, we get it. Every movie you put out makes a ton of money. Here, just do what you want. So when he was making Clockwork Orange, because it's Clockwork freaking Orange, the studio was very leery about just throwing money at him. So I would agree that the production value in general isn't tip top, again, especially as an immediate follow up to 2001. But to say the visuals are bad, no, it's Kubrick. The cinematography is spot on. But yes, the film quality of what he had to use budgetary wise, it does leave a little bit to be desired. I'd kind of like to see a digitally remastered version of that. So what's up? Oh, we're talking about the Monkees now? Let me tell you something about the Monkees, man. I saw them in concert. I'm old, but I'm not that old. So Mike Nesmith wasn't there, but I did see a Monkees concert, and it was absolutely fantastic. And you know who their opening act was when I saw him? Weird Al Yankovic. That show was absolutely amazing. I loved every second of it. That was one of the best times I ever had. It was just fun. Um, let's see. Where are we at now? Our school was divided between the Beatles or the Monkees. um, when I was okay, since the Monkees chat came in, some Monkees trivia for you guys over by there. The quicker the better, because anyone could look it up, right? The Monkees were in a movie. Who knows the name of it? Nobody. And I won't say the name of the movie. I'll see if you guys can guess without Googling it. Anyway, not only were the Monkees in a movie, but the script was written by Jack Nicholson. That's some Monkees trivia for you there. Um, but yeah, I love the Monkees, and I always try to make the point that if you, because so many people came out against them when they found out that they didn't write all of their own music like the Beatles and all their other contemporaries did, even though Jimi Hendrix and the Beatles and all these other people like respected and hung out with the Monkees in real life. The fact of the matter is, Mike Nesmith's contract allowed him to have at least one or two of his songs per album. And as time went on and he started taking more and more control of the band, they started doing more and more of their own music. And the stuff that they wrote was just as good, if not better, than the stuff other people were writing for them. Nancy got it. Bam. Heard. The original trailer. This movie was so psychedelic. The original trailer was not the Monkees in their film big screen debut. No, nothing like that. The original ad was head coming soon, head, coming, soon. Like, that movie was so bizarre. It was amazing. I love that movie, though. Oh, it's on YouTube? I believe it. Um, yeah, Nancy, and the music in that movie is absolutely fantastic. The Monkees didn't write all the songs, but it's great stuff. Um, let's see. I'll try to find a link to the concert at White Rock Lane in Dallas '69 with Led Zeppelin and others. I got the Led Zeppelin box set, and one of my favorite parts is in the special features. There's a clip from a show that was filmed somewhere near, I think it was in France, I don't, or Italy, so I don't remember. But the point is, this was way early, and like, I don't even know if their first album was even out yet at the time. But just to give you an idea of how early in their career this was, in the clip, Jimmy Page is playing his Telecaster, the one with the dragon on it. Like, you see Jimmy Page, he's holding a Les Paul. That's all there is to it. But in this, he's playing a Telecaster. That's how early it is. And they're playing Dazed and Confused. And there's like 20 people in the crowd or something. Just a bunch of hippies sitting on the floor listening to the music. And as the camera is panning through the crowd, you can see it. You can see it. If they're out of the, again, I don't know exactly how many people are there, but it looked like maybe 20 people. So like 16 of them are looking at these guys like, what are you doing? But there were like the 3 or 4 people that you could see in the crowd who got it. They got it. And they were just like, with their eyes closed, just like they knew that they were watching an incredible thing. But it was at that time, they were so early in their career, there were only a couple people who understood what they were hearing and how important it was. Oh, thank you, Miranda. Look at this. She just joined. Thank you very much for joining. Glad to have you aboard. I love you guys so much. You guys make me so happy. I come on here all the time hanging out with you guys. Let's see. I met a few metal bands before they were famous. The only celebrities I've ever met were, let's see, well, will you count that as a celebrity? Band-wise, I met Voivod. And I think it's kind of a funny story, but in a weird way. When I met Voivod, they were really, really, really cool. Like, they were totally cool with me. We talked for a while. They were perfectly nice and polite and all that good stuff. Nothing wrong. I loved it. They were all great guys. However, there was a line of people, because they were doing a meet and greet. There was a line of people to talk to them after their show. They had a meet and greet. And I could tell, like, sometimes you just know certain things when you're talking to somebody. As nice as they were to me, as polite as they were to me, I could tell that they were ready to get to talking to the girls that were behind me in line. Like, oh yeah, dude, yeah, what's up? Yeah, right on, man. No, that's cool, man. I'm glad you like our music. Hey, like, you knew it. But that's fine. I get that. I'm just saying, like, it was interesting to catch that. And then, now I'm from Chicago, so to me, this is just a thing, but most of you might not know anything about this, but there's a guy named, he passed away, unfortunately, Wesley Willis. He called himself the daddy of rock and roll. He was a local Chicago celebrity. Everybody loved the guy. So I met him once. But it's not just that I met him, it's the story of how I met him. I love this story because if you know Wesley Willis's music, you know that this is a brilliant Wesley Willis moment. Okay, I was, see, like, people might not know. So I have to go back and explain this. There was a punk band called the Dead Kennedys, right? And their lead singer was a guy named Jello Biafra. The Dead Kennedys started arguing about royalties. They broke up, blah, 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 whatever. So years later, Jello Biafra is still around even now. And he still does music. He still tours with his other bands. He has his own label. And generally, what he does, not always, but generally, what he'll do is he'll, because he owns his own record label, when he signs a new band, their first album on his label will be with him on vocals, because he knows certain people are going to buy the next Jello Biafra album no matter what it is. So he's featuring the new band and giving them a chance to get a wider audience because all of his fans are going to hear him, right? So that's beautiful. I love that. But so anyway, I went to see Jello Biafra, and between he was the only act the whole time. But he did a set and then took a 20-minute break or whatever, and then came back and did another set. So during the break, everybody ran to the bathroom. So I'm standing in the bathroom waiting for my chance to get to any kind of a toilet or stall, anything. And directly in front of me, I'm standing directly across from a stall. The door's shut. You can see the feet at the bottom. And I heard, ah, splash. Ah, splash. Flush. Now, again, this stall's directly in front of me. And I'm hearing this. I'm like, oh, man. The door flies open. It doesn't just, they open the door. It, bam, slammed open. It's Wesley Willis. Now, real quick, I have to show you a picture of this guy for those of you who don't know. Because this is important to understand the story. Let's see, find a good one. All right, let's see, this will work. Now, of course, my computer is getting crazy. It doesn't want me to use that one. Let's see this one. Yeah, here we go. This one will work. All right. So, like I said, I'm at the Jello Biafra show. During the break, I'm waiting in line in the men's room. And while I'm waiting there, I hear somebody pooping. So the door flies open, and Wesley Willis, and this guy had to be, I don't know how tall he was. He was definitely taller than I am, and I'm 6 feet. So this dude was huge, right? This is a big dude. So the door flies open. It's Wesley Willis that was pooping. And this guy right here, Wesley Willis, not knowing that I'm a fan of his and that I listen to his music, right? I'm just a guy standing in the bathroom. The door flies open and it's Wesley Willis. And the camera is me, okay? And I'm Wesley Willis. And this is what happens. Door flies open. I just took a mean shit. And then he walks away. I'm like, that was Wesley Willis. No, but that was. So that's another celebrity that I met once. Hold on, let me get my hat back on. So I thought that was great because that is a classic Wesley Willis moment. That's exactly the kind of thing he would do. Let's see. Yeah, Violet, the 80s and 90s. I always said that music wise, the 90s were my 60s, right? I didn't get to live through the 60s. And in the 80s, I always regretted that I wasn't alive during the 60s. But then in the 90s, I was like, oh, you know what? If I was a teenager in the 60s, I wouldn't understand Nirvana. I definitely wouldn't understand Slayer. I would have had no idea what was going on in the 90s. So I'm glad that I was a little bit younger and I got to actually enjoy all that stuff. Um, but so anyway, that was that. So I did meet Wesley Willis and I met Voivod. And then here's another one for those who don't know. I haven't met too many famous people, but I have met some. Let's see. Because a lot of you guys probably won't know when I say the name, but let me see if I could find a picture of this guy that some of you might recognize. All right, let's see. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do you guys remember the Police Academy movies at all? Oh, look, that's kind of cool. I never saw this picture until just now. Um, but here, I'll zoom in a little. There we go. I'll put this on screen for you. Um, let's see. All right, so this is a picture of Zed and Sweet Chuck, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, wait, wrong button. All right, so on the left is Bobcat Goldthwait, and on the right is Tim Kazurinsky. I sold Tim Kazurinsky his TV. I was working in a Best Buy, and he came walking in, and it was really awesome. He was the best celebrity meeting experience I ever had because as soon as he walked in, I looked at him and I said, dude, you're Tim Kazurinsky. And just the fact that I knew his name and pronounced it correctly, immediately he was like, you're the dude that I want to deal with. I don't want to talk to anybody else. You're my man. Let's go. And we talked, and he was telling me all these stories about Hollywood and, what it was like being a movie star for a short time and why he didn't do who was the sound effects dude? Oh yeah, he actually went on America's Got Talent. Um, Michael Williams or Winslow, yeah, Williams. Spaceballs, yeah. Michael Winslow was in that. Yep. Police Academy a long time ago. Yep. But it was interesting because what Tim Kazurinsky said when I met him was the reason why after that you didn't see him in a lot of movies because he was on SNL too. Was I guess he said that as he got more and more popular, and he started getting deeper and deeper into the whole Hollywood thing. As soon as he started having kids, he decided that he didn't want his kids to be raised in that environment. That LA is just too insane. And he just wanted them to grow up with a good old fashioned Midwestern mentality. So he moved out of LA, moved back to Chicago. That's why I met him. And after that, he just was doing writing and producing and stuff. He wrote the Jim Belushi show, a bunch of other stuff, some movies. So he was still working in the industry, but he didn't want to be that guy anymore. That like he said that whole Hollywood scene is just too crazy for him, and he just didn't want to deal with it. So I respect that. You want to do what's best for your family. Abby Pullman, welcome. Good to see you. Glad you joined us. Just watched Spaceballs for the upteenth time. Yeah. Again, for people who are just joining us, we've gone way, way, way off the rails, but we're all having fun, so it's good. We were talking about music, then we started doing the Frauditors a little bit, and then we somehow got trailed off into movies, and then we trailed back into music again, and now we're talking about both. But yeah, somehow I guess to a certain extent, the whole Frauditor thing, until something big happens, like someone gets arrested or Chili drops another insanity bomb or whatever, it is kind of just the same thing every day, right? A couple idiots acted stupid, posting it on YouTube, and just trying to find the gems in the sea of madness that these idiots create every day. So, you know, a lot of this stuff gets repetitive after a while. So I don't mind talking about other stuff, but I feel like that's why you guys come here. So, um, oh, yeah, I like this from Frank. I thought I saw Chili, but it turned out to be just a turd on the lawn. Sorry for insulting the poop. Oh, yes. Oh, man, that's hilarious. That guy is so, like, when he first started getting big, I covered him a couple times, made a few videos about him. But he got so. Here's the thing. I don't want to say, because a lot of people say, oh, he gets over coverage now. People talk about him too much. But for me, it's not really that. It's not because he has too much coverage, that, like, in a bad way, that I don't really talk about him too much, but it's the market is kind of oversaturated. But when you look at, like, the fact that he was on Team Skeptic's channel and he's like literally threatening him with lawsuits and threatening Kate with lawsuits and this and that, it makes sense that these people are going to cover him, right? It's not like, well, the market is oversaturated for Chili videos, so I'm sick of watching Chili. Well, there are specific reasons why the people who are covering him are covering him, and like I say, every day he drops a new video, it seems like, where he says or does something that's so freaking stupid. It's just like, you gotta talk about it. It's gold. It's comedy gold. The jokes write themselves with this guy. He's so beautiful. He's so stupid. Even frauditors hate his guts. Even in my chat, like I've mentioned a few times, these last couple days, every day I log on and all I see is all these Bay Area transparency bootlicking sheeple. That's what I love to call them, like to flip it on him, making all these comments about him. And even in their comments, they're like, oh, yeah, it's not like he's as bad as Chili. Like, even those guys hate Chili. Everybody hates him. I don't know who likes this guy. I don't even think his own family likes him, right? They've been saying that they got restraining orders against him. Yes, exactly, Salacious. Exactly. Um, Speaking of which, okay, since we're going down that route, I might as well drop a link to the Grifty Awards for any of you who didn't know. There's an award that they give for the biggest grifter, and you can vote. And let's see, last time I checked, um, Chili was actually in first place, but I didn't check it today. Let's see where we're at right now. The Grifties. I'll drop a link in a minute. Let's see. All right, the Grifty Awards. Chili DeCastro is still in first place. Yes. Go vote for Chili today so he'll win the award for being the biggest grifter of the year. Boom. There it is. I just keep the Grifties up and just vote all the time. Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Oh, you got a migraine? I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, I hope you feel better. Go pet some squirrels. That'll help calm you down. Get some dopamine. Let's see. We got to keep. That's right. Woo, number one. When will the winners be announced? I don't know. Does it say on here? The second annual Grifty Awards, vote for Grifter of the Year. Well, there's a trailer for it on here. Let's see. I never actually watched the trailer. I just voted for Chili. So Let's watch that together, shall we? And see if they talk about the date and all that. Let's see. Grifty Awards. Grifties. Here we go.
Yo, people try to get that last minute grift in, man. You know what I mean?
Got him. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care about these isms.
The biggest grift in America, black versus white.
Protect or die.
I didn't know till you told me.
When you center white people, you give them all the power. There it is.
The grift can be a dangerous one.
I care what everybody thinks, but there's a certain amount of weight I'm going to give them.
We're gonna expose the grifting. Y'all thought the Oscars or something? The Soul Train Awards or something? Wait till the grifties come out.
Yo, today's a good grifting day, yo.
Know where Protest's been told.
Hotep's been told you.
The dictionary definition of the grift is to engage in petty or small-scale swindling. But the true definition is expressing views you don't fully believe, either by over-exaggerating or flat-out lying to gain money or status for their followers. Therefore, the grifter is someone that utilizes the grift.
Well, the grifter is not necessarily a bad person, and there are many times.
All right. Sorry to just kind of cut it off right there. I didn't realize. I thought that this was just a short trailer, but it turns out it's the whole show. It's over an hour. So I think maybe that was last year's awards. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's a big video there. Let's see. Oh yeah. And that was, hey, Mr. Ruffin. Speaking of which, I took that minute while I was playing to refill my coffee. But yeah, like I said, even though sometimes it seems like the market is oversaturated with Chili De Castro talk, the fact of the matter is the more people talk about him, the more people know what he's doing, the more hopefully people will be aware of who he is and won't fall for his shtick. We could vote until December 31st. All right. Sounds good to me. Yeah. So that's going to be amazing. Oh, well, it looks like he's going to win. That'd be great. I wonder what kind of like research these guys are going to do to really understand what this guy's up to. Because that's one of the problems and one of the reasons why people like me do what we do, or at least why I do what I do. With these guys is to expose their activity to the general public and to like point out like, hey, you know, when you watch their video and you hear their narration, if you're listening to what they're saying as opposed to actually looking at the content, which happens all the time, you'll realize that these guys are just, it's a scam. The whole thing's a scam. And the more people that are buying into it, the more people that are doing it, the more we need people like us to say, hey, everybody, you see one of these guys, they're not your friend. They're not there to help you. If you ask them why they were filming, they would immediately attack you. If you're talking to SGV, he might try to pepper spray you. Because that's what he'd love. I've heard stories, but I don't really try to get too deep into their pasts. I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, most of these guys are former criminals. And like, that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people, a lot of good people who've done time. People make mistakes. People do things. I get that, you know, so I'm never going to hold that against somebody. But the only reason I ever bring that up is because there's a correlation between I did something, I got busted, So now I'm mad at the cops because they busted me. So now I'm going to dedicate my life to attacking cops, right? That's why their criminal history comes into play for me. It isn't because, oh, you committed a crime, so you're evil. A lot of people do things that are illegal that aren't necessarily immoral, but they're against the law, depending on, what you did and where you come. Anyway, the point is, just because somebody made a mistake in the past doesn't mean they're a bad person. It's not that they did things in the past. It's that they use that as the fuel to their fire to be an asshole professionally. And I am thoroughly convinced that SGV News is nothing more than a hardcore street thug who found a way to do it and make money off it and not end up getting tossed in the slammer. I mean, he does end up getting arrested, but not for he doesn't do any real hard time, right? He found the loopholes in the law that allow him to continue to be an ordinary, common, scumbaggy street thug and get paid for it and not do hard time. Just walk up to people on the street, talk, I am not going there, blah, 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 nonsense until they say, what are you talking about? And then pepper spray them. Yay. Good job, buddy. Now that is how I know that this country is going to be free. Finally, for the first time ever, we're going to have liberty, because in a free society, thugs can walk the street and randomly pepper spray citizens. That's the world I want to live in. Thanks, SGV News. Ladies and gentlemen, I have decided to take my hat off, hold it over my heart. I'm going to even take my glasses off, because we know that the auditors are out there, because we know that the sovereign citizens are out there, because we see what they do and how they do it. I would like to take this moment, a moment of silence, for the death of intelligence. Thank you. And rational thought. All right, I got another super. Oh, this is great. I'm in heaven this morning. Just because I'm awesome. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. Let's see. Hold on. You Googled his name. Whose name? What did I miss? Yes, moment of silence for intelligence and rational thought. Hey, Miranda, did you know that there's a video about you on YouTube that the person who made it is obviously a troll, talking about you? I was surprised when I saw that. I'm like, Miranda, she comes to my chat every morning. What's this video with her name in the title? So I watched it, and it wasn't nice. Whoever made that video was not a fan of yours. I'll say that. But I mean, I don't care about trolls because I get them too. I think so, maybe. I don't know. I just, like I said, I saw your name and I'm like, oh, I recognize that name, And so I clicked on it and I was like, the heck is this? And the video, the thing about it was that the whole video was, I mean, I don't even know if it was you in the video or not. I saw your name, so I clicked on it. But it was like this super fast, high speed, like vertical video of, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. Whatever. So I just turned it off because it didn't. Wait a minute, Florida Jim. I think you saw my hat over by there that I got on my head there. The Bears. They got a game coming up on September 11th. I'm going to do my Bears pregame and postgame show. Hopefully, some of you Bears fans will join me for that. That'd be real nice to have you. I don't know if I'm going to go live for that. I think it'll be pre-recorded. The only thing that is driving me nuts about my whole about my Bears videos is that right now all the props I use for my Bears videos, because I've got I gotta say at least 10 or 15 Bears jerseys. And one of the things that I would do is I would have in the background behind me like a different jersey every video. So like sometimes I'd have Walter Payton up there, sometimes I've had Dick Butkus, sometimes I've Mike Ditka, sometimes I have Jim McMahon, Gale Sayers, whatever, just always a different one. And then besides that, I had like all my Chicago stuff. I had a Lego set of the Chicago skyline that I built that I propped up in the background. I always used to have my Rubik's Cube in the background, and I would specifically go out of my way to have the orange, blue, and white showing, and then I just this whole set that I had built. That was just all my Bears stuff. But ever since I moved, all that stuff is in a shed in Wisconsin, and I'm in Florida right now. So when I start doing my Bears videos again, it's basically just going to be the hat, and then I call these my Bears glasses. Whenever I do my Bears character, I always put these on. And I say, I drop into my old Chicago accent over by there and talk about how, the Bears are going to win, of course. In fact, since we're talking about it right now, I might as well just say it. The Bears are playing the 49ers on September 11th. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be over by there in Soldier Fields. And we're going to have fun watching it. And what's going to happen is my prediction is the final score. The Bears are going to take it easy because it's the first game of the season. So they're going to get about 97 points. And the 49ers, they might get 3 points on a kick, but that's it. That's it. They ain't going to do anything. And if you think getting that high score is impossible, just remember, we're talking about the Bears. And, if they're having trouble winning, I already know what's going to happen. The soul of Mike Ditka is going to come down from heaven, and he's going to save the Bears and make them win. And if you want to say, but Mike Ditka isn't dead, he's that good. Anyway, that's just a little piece of my Bears routine. Let me put my glasses on so I can see what the heck's going on over here. Yeah, okay. That video was I have no idea what that was about. Like I said, I saw your name and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting. I recognize that." Like I said, and then I clicked on it and it was nothing. So I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what I'm watching or why I'm watching it." So I turned it off. That's the whole story. That has been confirmed, or well, whatever. Audit them. I got my 2 trifolds are better than one Frauditor Troll Audit Them t-shirt right here. I won that from Frauditor Troll, and it was Audit Them who actually picked me as the winner. So that works out fine. But yeah, Audit Them. He's another one that it's like he has this whole shtick where it's like you can do a FOIA request. Oh my goodness! Look at this, another one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miranda. I appreciate that more than you know. Oh man, beautiful. I love it. Love you guys. Anyway, yeah. So Audit Them with this whole FOIA request thing. Because I went on. What happened was when I don't know if it was the first, because there were a couple times that Troll, had Audit Them on his show. But I was watching Troll, one of his streams with Audit Them, and I came on for a while. I talked to Audit Them for a minute, and afterwards, I didn't there were still questions I had. There were still things I wanted to talk to him about, and he immediately went live after that. So then I went up on his panel on his channel, and we talked for a while, and he was trying to explain to me his whole FOIA philosophy, and it's like, don't you understand that because of the Freedom of Information Act, you could go and get any public information that you want. So, yeah. So why don't you do it? Because I can? Yeah. Wait. What? Well, there have been people who have found discrepancies in paperwork and got people busted for things and blah, blah, blah. So that's what you're doing? You are suspicious. You have a suspicion about a particular individual or department that may be doing something shady. So you're requesting the FOIAs to investigate that? No, that's not what you're doing at all. You just request FOIAs and film yourself requesting them all the time. I have not seen one video, not one, where he actually made a video about what he discovered through his FOIA requests. I've only seen videos of him making FOIA requests and being rude while doing it so that he could get a negative reaction to film. And then when I said that, one of his sycophants that was on the panel with him holds up a piece of paper saying, I got this because I made a FOIA request and I got it. So that proves he's telling the truth. Nobody said that requesting information and getting information isn't a thing. Nobody's denying that that's a thing. You got the piece of paper. Great. What did you learn from it? That I can get it. It's possible, if you make a FOIA request, to actually receive the information you requested, right? And there's nothing to it. It's empty. It's shallow. It's nothing but a waste of resources, waste of time. And I love the fact that these idiots constantly complain and moan and scream and holler and yell about how the government is wasting all of our tax dollars on all this nonsense, but you making them waste their time and resources to fulfill your FOIA requests that you're constantly doing for no reason other than because you can do them, that's not wasting taxpayer money? Oh, man. I'll tell you right now, I could say, Peck, if Auditing America was here right now, that's exactly what he'd say. You're being disorderly. You're being disorderly. I actually, one time, I couldn't find it. I've looked for it. He might have deleted it, or I just, buried within his pile somewhere. I actually went on one of fake news, real Mike douche hammer face guy, fake Mike real news. I actually went on one of his live streams once, and he responded to me directly, and he says, "Frauditor destroyer. Well, how many frauditors have you destroyed? I'm out here doing good work, and I can't believe that you would have the audacity to show up on my." And he just starts trying to talk down at me and say these big words, and I'm just like, dude, what are you talking about? You walk up to random people, say stupid, inane nonsense to them, and record yourself doing it. Again, this specifically isn't because we know for a fact that a large number of these idiots are just doing it for the money. In fact, one of Frauditor Troll's most recent interviews was with a guy who straight up said flat out, I love trolling the cops because they're the cops and I'm getting paid. It's a beautiful thing, and that's why I do it. There is no, oh, I'm fighting for your rights. Oh, I'm doing this. No, I just love trolling cops and getting paid to do it. He just flat out said it straight up. No lies, no BS, no trying to sell a false narrative. I'm a scumbag, and I know I'm a scumbag, and I found a way to get paid for it. Beautiful. So we know that plenty of these guys, the majority of these guys, don't believe in what they're doing. They just use that as part of the script to try and sell what they're doing. But I'm specifically addressing the ones who actually do believe in it. When you hear their arguments, when you try to discuss it with them, when you try to actually help them understand our point of view, they are so completely closed minded, so completely delusional, and so completely sold on this idiocy that, and they're so deeply entrenched into it. You talk about Dunning Kruger, right? His level of knowledge is here. Their belief of their level of knowledge is so high. They're so far gone that you say anything to them and they just talk in circles and deflect and wrap everything around. And you could talk to them for 2 hours and they won't shut up, and they haven't said anything, not one word. Just blah 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 blah. Recite the script. Blah 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 blah. Recite the script. Blah 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 blah. Recite the script. Oh, I could make a song out of that. I just realized, like a good, maybe a disco kind of beat. Like down 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 down. Recite the script. Down talk 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 talk. Recite the script. All right, sorry. People's salaries should not be made public. Yeah, I guess a lot of people hate that. But unfortunately, that is part of the program, And again, this is the thing. One of the reasons why I have trouble sometimes when I actually do talk to these guys, and again, I said the other day, I haven't done a lot of interviews. I talked to Direct D on here. I talked to Rogue Nation on here, but when I start getting into it with these guys, because they are experts at talking in circles and building false narratives and bouncing ideas back and forth and deflecting with questions to get you confused. I know that they're using these techniques, but they use them so much that they're experts at it. So when they're actually talking to me, sometimes I get there and then I go back and watch the streams later and realize, oh, I should have said this. Oh, I should have pointed out that, So I've got to work on that myself, get some more practice, maybe do a few more interviews and get my groove going, get my rhythm for an interview. But they talk so much and say so many things and don't answer so many questions that it sort of becomes this like shallow void. And see, I don't want to get to sound too weird, but I'm just like the way I'm perceiving. I'm trying to legitimately get inside their head, not just make fun of the ones that are idiots that we know are idiots, but the ones who actually do legitimately believe in this. Like, I want to get in their heads and try to comprehend how their minds work, that they're able to put these pieces together and see a puzzle, because they're just, the pieces they're putting together aren't real. They don't exist. Right. But then they always love to deflect, especially Rogue Nation is an expert at this specific technique and Craig from CHI Audits does it all the time too. A bunch of them do it, is to bring up things that you can't disagree with, to try and pull you in, like say, see, like, dude, if you walk up to a lady that's sitting behind a counter and you point your camera at her and you say, give me a FOIA request. And she says, oh, okay. Just, are you filming right now, sir? I don't like being on camera. Well, too bad. It's my First Amendment right to film you, blah, 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 right? And pull that whole shtick. And then you ask them, okay, so what does doing that, what does going into a public office and putting in a FOIA request for everyone's salaries have to do with freedom and rights? In what way specifically does doing that help us get more freedom and get our rights protected? Specifically, how does that happen? And their answer will be, well, didn't that cop kill that dude by putting his knee in his neck? Yeah. See? What? Okay, so if you walk in to Culver's and you just stand there and film the guy behind the counter, and when they say, "Hey, we don't want you filming in here," and you start hollering at them and yelling at them and telling them you got the First Amendment right to film and this and that, how does that specifically, how does that help us and our liberties and our freedoms and our rights? Well, didn't you know that in Texas there were a bunch of kids that got shot and there were cops there that didn't stop them? Yeah. Well, see, there you go. False equivalencies. False equivalencies. They live on them. That, yeah, of course that was bad, but what the hell does that have to do with what we're talking about? Oh, man, it's so bad. Oh, my goodness gracious. My fervent hope is that they're all crushed and mangled. I'll tell you something, too. Like, I'm not advocating for violence. I would never advocate for violence. YouTube algorithm, listen to me. I would never advocate for violence. Ha ha ha. Jokes. Jokes. All right, now that I said that officially on the record, let's get off the record for a second. All right, here's the thing. I don't advocate for violence. Like, legit, I don't. But when you see the way these guys act, and I made this point yesterday in one of my comments section. Thank you very much once again, Miranda. Postal. Oh, you want to come up and hang out? Yeah, I could do that. I'm here every morning. I'll be here tomorrow. Maybe we could work something out. Wear the duck hat. It's not a duck. It's a platypus. Drop me an email. I got my it's hezokuai@gmail.com. I got a link to it in on my channel, and we'll work something out. That'd be fun. Wear the duck hat. Yeah, the problem with the duck hat is no, it's over there. I just football season's starting soon, so I've just been doing this. But I'll wear the duck hat tomorrow. Or you want me to wear it today? I don't know. I was gonna start wrapping it up. I've been here almost 3 hours. I got to start getting the kids ready for school and stuff. Let's see, Black's Law Dictionary. Last time I used my copy of Black's Law was to smack someone over the head with it. No, anyway, that's a heavy book, man. That'd hurt. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, anyway, like I was saying, not that I'm advocating for violence, but I'm making the point that, and again, it's not that I'm saying this should happen. I'm just saying realistically, because this is specifically what brought it up. One of the things that I've been hearing more and more of these guys say, it's slowly being added to the standard script, is, well, 20 years ago, if I was filming, everybody'd be jumping in the camera saying, hi, Mom, and they want to be on camera, right? Now, all of a sudden, nobody wants to do that. Well, first of all, it's not true. Because when these people show up and start doing this filming and all this stuff, it's not like it was in the old days, right? I grew up in Chicago. A lot of tourists come. People film things. They film the buildings. They film the architecture. You see people with pointing cameras at stuff all the time. It's never a problem. But what you don't see is someone standing in front of a bank with their camera on a tripod, pointed directly at the bank, zooming in on the windows, and just standing there. Like, That's not a thing. Anyway, I've been hearing them use that excuse more and more and more and more. And my response to that was, if you're out there acting the way you act and you weren't filming, you 20 years ago, I'm saying, if you were acting like that, you'd get your ass beat. Again, I'm not saying they should get their ass beat. What I'm saying is, without the camera, without you hiding behind the camera and the pepper spray and the taser, you'd be taking a beat down. Now, every once in a while they do, but they would be doing a lot more. These guys would be getting the crap kicked out of them on a very regular basis if they didn't have the camera, because people who normally might beat the crap out of them don't want to be on film beating someone up because they know that it's going to be they're the bad guy because they're the ones that hit them. But if they weren't filming, that's exactly what would happen. And I had someone in my comments saying, all these people who don't like being filmed are just a bunch of pussies. They don't do nothing. And what if they did do something? We've seen it. We've seen people do something. What happens when they do something? They either get pepper sprayed or they get you pressing charges on them. You, Mr. Anti-Cop, calling the cops on them for assaulting you and having them arrested and maybe even suing them. So you could call them a pussy all day, but if they actually do something, oh, they touched, and then who's the pussy? Oh, they touched me. Oh, they touched my camera. Oh, I'm going to cry like a little girl. It's the end of the world. La, la, la. Crap, 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 crapola, and poop. Anyway, I think that's pretty much going to be it for today. I want to thank you guys very much. I actually had a lot of fun this morning. It was kind of nice to actually, get into a little bit of different stuff, have some music and movie discussion, as well as covering the idiots being stupid like they always do. So, once again, thank you all for coming out. Love you guys. Again, this morning show is going to be a regular thing. I'm going to be here every morning during the week. Let me guys know if how you feel about weekends. If I should start maybe trying to do it more on the weekends too, because I guess more people might be available because they don't have to work or whatever. But I don't know. Anyway, thanks for coming out. Love you guys. Always great to have you. I will see you tomorrow morning. Oh, yay, yay. All shook up.